won't lie, when the week started out, I didn't know how much we'd end up getting in terms of information or teasers about new content and all things considered within Black Ops 4, but we admittedly have gotten a lot of information over the past couple of days, and whether it be Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare 4, rumors, whatever it may be, there's been a lot to discuss. And so today I want to take a look at a couple of things you may have missed throughout the week, and that we didn't really cover in any detail at all here on the channel. So we're gonna be taking a look at about 8 things here in this video, some things of more minor detail, some things that are actually relatively large and that we never got around to covering. So that said, let's just jump right into it. Number 1 up on this list deals with camos, and more so in particular, the Mastercraft, Reactive, and Mastery camos for not only zombies, but also Blackout as well. We had a brief little bit of information talking about how they'd be coming at the end of January in the January 8th update on Tuesday that Treyarch posted over on Reddit, but that was the extent of it. However, a little bit more was actually found whenever Treyarch replied to somebody commenting on the thread saying nothing about Mastercraft, Reactive, or even Market camos, can't wait for those in 2021, to which Treyarch replied, more info to come next week. Again, presumably alongside that update coming on Tuesday, 1.11, for those guys that missed all the talk about that. There's a lot that's going to be coming to the game within that update, but still a little bit it kind of sets the scene for what's coming later in the month, as well as what's actually being added in on Tuesday. So while we won't get them actually added into the game on Tuesday, we will get some more information. I can't imagine it goes all the way to the extent of how to unlock these, but a little bit more information giving us a heads up as to what's still coming. So that's something to look out for, and I'm very excited for that actually, because I'm all for grinding the Blackout camos in particular for my case, but I'm also excited that Zombies players now have something else to grind out as well. And like we talked about in a video a couple of days ago, if they're anything like the pre-release Mastercraft or sort of Mastery camos that we saw in the build of the game for the pre-release press event that myself, a bunch of other YouTubers, and a lot of the press guys for different media websites had the fortune to go out to, that would be insanely cool. I think honestly those look fantastic, even if some of them were just pack-a-punch camos and placeholders. Who knows, but they definitely were a cool indication as to what might actually happen. But next up on the list, this one deals with Blackout players in particular, and being one of those Blackout players, I am super excited to see what happens here with this, because this potentially could lead to a concussion nerf within Blackout. Now, we saw the 9-bang removed a couple of months back because of how powerful it was and ineffective the counters were for it, but if you take a look at it, the concussions now in Blackout still do a tremendous amount of damage. And yes, there are things like Reinforced that counters it for just a split second you're stunned and you have a white screen, but Reinforced is rather low on the spawn rates. Plus, unless you end up getting to late game, there is about 15 minutes of time where your encounters with a player could be completely random, so you have no idea when to pop that, even if you do have it. But when it comes down to it, the core basis of how the concussions work, I think, is fundamentally flawed. Personally, I think that a utility item that can be stacks and sets of 2 and is relatively common in its drop rate, and then that item can be relatively spammed for something that gives the player that's affected by it absolutely zero mobility, no way to really adjust their course of action to counter in any way. Hip firing is the only way that you can end up dealing with firing back, and you're completely blinded for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds before it wears off. To me, I think that's just a little bit too powerful in the effects that it grants. So if you've played Blackout before, you've probably run into the same issues where you die to somebody with stuns and you can't help but feel like that was a cheap death. Now, somebody posted over on Reddit saying, support my new GoFundMe for a new TV, in which it was a same situation where they got spammed with the concussion grenades, to which Matt Schrontz, who we'll end up talking about a couple of times in this video, ended up replying, I'm fairly sure that wasn't anyone at Treyarch. We have some straight up beasts on the team. I used to be the good player in the studio, but the young guns took my position from me. At OP, feedback noted, stay tuned. Which kind of helps beg the question, stay tuned, meaning, is a nerf coming? And the prospect of that, I am absolutely in love with. I am all for the potential for a nerf coming in some capacity. We don't know exactly what it will entail, but whether that be reducing the spawn rates of concussions, whether that be giving some mobility, if anything, whenever you're still hit by these, or perhaps even just boosting Reinforced, I'll take anything at this point. With an update coming on Tuesday, and a decent bit of that actually coming to Blackout content, that might be something that's up on deck that we just don't know of and hasn't really officially been stated just yet. So keep an eye out for that one, but that's something you may have missed this week. Third up on the list deals again with Blackout, and one that is a little bit more frustrating, but is something that you've probably seen once or twice here for yourself. but ladders have been broken in Blackout, and I think maybe even in multiplayer as well. I don't really use them all that much because I feel like there's significantly less locations in multiplayer with ladders, but regardless, getting a little off topic here, if you were to jump onto a ladder, you weren't on the base of it to begin with, you'd end up having to jump on it, it would just slide you all the way down. It doesn't matter if you're a foot off the ground when you do it, or an elevator shaft like you would be within Blackout at Hydro Dam, doesn't matter, you'd end up sliding all the way down to the bottom if you jumped to the ladder, not started at the base. And that's something that has caused a lot of people to either die in-game or take huge hits of damage, whereas it really shouldn't be like that, especially because it worked from the very beginning, but because of an update as of whenever it may be, that ended up changing the way that things are working. But coming back to our friend Matt Schranz once again, he ended up posting over on Reddit about this to get another topic that ended up talking about these being bugged. But he says, I believe we have a fix for this, was speaking with one of our engineers earlier who was working on this specific issue. Apologies for the fall damage. So again, that could be coming as early as of Tuesday, but it's something that has been addressed and has been at least acknowledged as an issue, and a fix is in the works here for this. So certainly nice to see, but next up on the list comes one specific one that you guys might not necessarily all that much care about because you might not be as invested into the world of competitive Call of Duty as the players that actually are. I know that a lot of you guys focus here on the channel mostly about multiplayer, maybe some Blackout, maybe I've swung you guys into trying that out for a lot of your gaming, but regardless, competitive is something I don't really touch here on the channel, but it's something worth noting because there is an issue right now that persists where in Control and Search and Destroy, perks completely disappear from in-game class setups, and as the tournament is approaching, that's absolutely massive that players are losing their perks when in-game, but out-of-game that shows up in their created class. So they ended up coming down to an isolation of this issue and have a fix potentially in the work. They're just validating and verifying that reproducing this is actually what's causing it. So once they've reproduced it and they end up pinpointing this all down, it will be something they can then push out to a live fix, and then it should be no issue going on further. So that's something that of course is definitely nice, but rounds out our stuff, multiplayer, Blackout, and then competitive for Black Ops 4. Now, switching gears to a little bit of zombie stuff, this is where we get into some leaks that I never touched here on the channel just yet, and I still kind of want to be a little careful on how I approach this, because leaks, of course, are always something that, from an intellectual property standpoint, is something you want to be careful with. But that said, this information for not only this stuff talking about zombies, but we'll talk about in just a few seconds of Modern Warfare 4 stuff, this all comes from the Woo Lads, a group prominently known for their leaks and information that they end up having well before it's ever actually released officially to the public. They have a track record that is absolutely fantastic. I'm talking spreading years back in the past now that they've been entirely accurate on pretty much everything they've talked about. I don't think that I've come across one thing they have talked about that didn't actually happen. But this said, talking about and relating to zombies now in Black Ops 4, we end up seeing potentially what is DLC 2 or maybe a free map given at some point, which with the idea and prospect of 115 Day coming up as of Tuesday's update, maybe it drops then, but I think that this will be something that's actually part of the Black Ops Pass, the way they describe it and everything now going forward. They end up saying that it will be Nuketown. That was a rumor that's been going along for a long time, and it's something that even dating back to that QA tester being fired from Treyarch was leaked then. So Nuketown was in the works and was something of a topic of discussion for quite some time, but they ended up saying that Ultimus will be the characters here confirmed for this, and that it will be something as a part of the Black Ops Pass, which, again, I totally understand the hot debates with this one around another remake, and I totally get. Truthfully, I haven't followed the storyline info that much or even zombies nearly as much as I would have liked to within Black Ops 4, but totally understand the disappointment that may come out of this. It is a bummer that given the circumstances and the way that perhaps the storyline implications need remakes to revisit some places, or maybe that's not exactly the case, but not seeing brand new content, brand new maps being introduced, I understand where players would get upset. But the thing that I see here is that if there is a massive expansion of the map and such huge portions like Blood of the Dead being made so it's playable like it never was before, it perhaps lessens the blow a little bit in my mind, or at least the way that I see it. So until we have more, I'm withholding my judgment, but that's something you may have missed, that Nuketown was the talk of the community as of recently. But now moving over into the final topics of discussion that I want to talk with you guys here about deals with Modern Warfare 4 rumors. We talked about dispelling and completely debunking a bunch of leaks, if you want to call them that happened earlier in the week, but this kind of stuff actually comes back again to the Woo Lads, who have a phenomenal track record. So what we're talking about here at this point is stuff that you might be able to take a little bit further than some anonymous poster on 4chan or Reddit that just created an account. So that said, the first thing they ended up mentioning in a video in which they detailed all this kind of stuff, I'll leave it in the description below if you guys want to check it out in its entirety, they ended up saying that remasters are in fact coming. And truthfully, this is something that I kind of thought would happen. If you guys remember back to last summer, we saw a listing on Amazon for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered as a standalone thing, to which the entirety of that ended up coming out to be just a remaster of the campaign, no multiplayer, no spec ops, nothing like that, just the campaign. And that was something that was, well, never seen of again after that, because it was slated for a July release date, if I'm not mistaken. Then July came and passed. Players thought that, well, they pulled it because they're adding in multiplayer so that there's no big giant uproar. But from their information and from what I've also heard for quite some time on the whispers on the down low, is that that's actually not the reasoning. From what they said, it was because of some political climate issues that if they were to release that around July with the mission No Russian, well, that would not play in very well, because especially in the States, the topic of gun violence was something that was absolutely massive, and while it still persists, it was at a very heightened point, especially around that because of a few mass shootings that happened around the time it was supposed to be released. So it got pulled for potentially that reasoning, but according to them, and again, some information that interestingly enough echoes what I've heard for quite some time now, legally these remasters have to come because of a partnership agreement with PlayStation and Activision, as the rumors go. But that said, with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered being held until what seemingly is this year, where we still have no real information about it, that's something that we may end up seeing Modern Warfare 2 Remastered and Modern Warfare 3 Remastered being campaign only, from what they say, leading up to the launch of Modern Warfare 4. So to them, Modern Warfare 4 is happening. To them also, the remasters are coming as campaign only, kind of story introductions to new players that may be joining with Modern Warfare 4. But that's something that, according to these rumors from somebody that has a fantastic track record, it's going to be something you can keep an eye out for. Additionally, Modern Warfare 4, as again they called it, does have a campaign from the information they've relayed, which I think is kind of a no-brainer, especially given that Modern Warfare 4 and the Modern Warfare series in particular have such gravitas in terms of what you can do with the storyline and how beloved it is by fans. So to me, anything that really comes out and tries to dupe people saying there's not going to be a campaign is absolutely asinine. Plus, they just again echoed that it will be happening. So don't worry if you saw some air quote leaks saying that it won't. But the final thing they mentioned in their video detailing these leaks and information says that whenever we finally get a trailer for Modern Warfare 4, one of the final pieces we'll get at the very tail end is a surprise character reveal, somebody that we thought would be dead, but actually turns out to be alive. Now, this could be a number of different characters within the Modern Warfare universe, because there are so many beloved characters that met their untimely fate within either Modern Warfare 1, 2, or 3, but I can't help but think that it's going to be one of the good guys that ended up losing their life. So maybe Ghost, maybe Soap, maybe Roach, but there's still so much they could do. What if Makarov somehow, and again, I don't think this is possible at all, but what if somehow they turn the Modern Warfare series on its head and then Makarov is still alive? Even though you hung him to end the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, what if he's back? I don't think that's actually going to happen, but that definitely is something that is rather interesting to think about and who it might be returning. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up here. Wanted to give you guys this information on 8 things you may have missed this week, both in Black Ops 4 and also the idea of Modern Warfare 4. There's a lot that, even though we discussed so much, we still ended up missing, because again, it was an absolute madhouse for information this past week. So let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys like the most here out of this? Are you excited for some of the fixes coming to Black Ops 4? Are you excited about some information from Modern Warfare 4? Whatever it may be, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare, information, updates, news, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered with the best of all that. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things relating to any of it. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below to both of them. That said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.